Welcome to the show again, The Leading Force. With us today we have the three top luminaries from the Society of Indo-American Engineers and Architects, the leading South Asian organization in the field of engineering and architecture in North America. And going to this segment with us again with Mr. Nayan Parikh. Nayan, you started touching a little bit at some point about the challenges that the engineering community was facing in the 70s or probably early 80s. Some kind of discrimination that Indians cannot probably speak in English, so just give them some job and a desk if they're good at it. Let's expand on that a little bit.
See, what's happening, Sunil, is our engineers, you see, the way things works is you have to have a backup in order to move forward. That's how I noticed in New York City and New York State. A lot of our engineers, I've noticed some, for example, there's two person, one is white person and one is an Indian person. They both are equally qualified. They both joined, for example, DDC in 1983. They both has a PE license, okay. Now in 2011, the person, Indian person, is still somewhere there, here, and the white person is already commissioner. So I think there is a reason behind that, that we need to get our representation, we need to come out on the floor and show our existence, we are there.
So are you saying that there were times when people with even degrees from top engineering institutions in India, and they applied for a job and they were kind of overlooked in favor of somebody else who was probably less qualified?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Actually, can I pitch in?
Yeah, please.
Sure, yeah.
Actually, there is a term called glass ceiling. And of course,
but we had heard about in other areas, not about the engineering field.
In engineering, yes. Actually, in the production area, because they know that Indians are loyal and very hardworking and they are goal-oriented, so they will produce for them. So in the mid-management, Indians are all over, and that goes also true for engineering profession. But when it comes to higher level administration job, where engineers and architects have to be there, Indians are not there.
So you're saying that as an engineer individual, you were eventually being given what you were deserving, right. But when it comes to managing people, right. So you were not the right candidate.
Not the top management, mid-management, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Handling a staff of 3 or 4 is fine, but when it comes to handling a staff of 30, 40, 50, for example, a deputy commissioner level position at Department of Design and Construction or any city agency, you will not see too many Indians. As a matter of fact, there are hardly none.
But now you are a program director. So how did you make it? How did you break that ceiling?
For me, it was the right place at the right time. But I am probably one of the very few people who has gotten into a right place at the right time and somebody was there to appreciate. But there are thousands of Indians all over the country who are not in the same boat as I am.
I'll come to that point because some of the people have really broken the glass ceiling, not only broken it but gone to the top levels. Before that, let me talk to Mihir, who has his own construction company. Now, I can understand in the jobs there are issues. When you bid for contracts, when you apply for different projects, did you ever face problems in that, or do you still face problems in getting jobs?
No, we do all state and federal jobs, so it's all bonded jobs, and if I am a low bidder, they have to give it to me. So we really don't get that discriminative phase in our industry. But I understand I graduated from Vallabh Vidyanagar, BVM, and my whole class is here. Like 60 people, there are 48 to 50 people working in DDC, MTA, and I have seen them in SIAEA. They all went from level 1 to level 3 engineers. And as Samir said, Vinod Devgan is our committee member. He did very well. But I have seen few people, they don't get that opportunity. And they are always, like MTA, we have Arvind Patel, right? He was my he signed my final lecture. Then we have friends, Bhupendra Patel. They are all intelligent people, but their bosses are John Gunnan. Then has to be somebody other than Indian, always.
So you're saying when it comes to bidding for jobs or getting projects as a company, you don't face because you are going through the proper criteria, pre-qualification and bidding.
Yes.
But when it comes to getting promotions and higher level position, there is an issue. But Nayan, let's talk about that point, because I know Mr. Mysore Nagaraja personally myself.
Yes.
And you could not go higher than him. And now Mysore did not become Mysore Nagaraja in 2011. He was at the top of the game in 1997, 98. So how was he able to break the glass ceiling? How was he able to go? And you can even introduce who is Mysore Nagaraja.
Well, Mysore Nagarajan was a highest, he was not the highest position on MTA, he was not a chairman of MTA.
True, but in the engineering side, he went on to become the chief engineer, and then also he was the president
of the construction
management group.
Management group.
It was an independent charge.
So it's a good achievement, and I totally agree with his qualification, with his right approach. He reached where very few Indian reach, and like Samir said, Samir, Vinod Devgan, those are the few of millions. They're there, and we can always take proud. Satish Babbar, who was the president in, who was the commissioner in building department, and a friend of mine who is on a pretty high position in New Jersey State, Chris Collery, who went up to the commissioner in New Jersey State, and at one point he was a lieutenant governor. So that is great, and but there is a lot of people who are a lot more qualified than them. They are out there, but they didn't reach there. And for that, we have to work as an organization to bring that level.
Correct.
That's the only way we can expose them to the politicians, to the decision makers who knows that, look, the community is there, community has a power. So by us bringing that platform with the politicians, those who are smart, intelligent people looking to go high in the government sector or state sector or city or federal, they will get a chance. Unless until there is more Indians goes to the Albany, more Indians go to the city hall.
So good, there's more power to the society.
Right.
You know, you are trying to now help bridge that gap.
Yes.
Like Mysore Nagarajan, right, he has to have somebody behind him. Like he cannot become on his own with our association.
So you mean to say there is a godfather behind everybody who made it to the top?
You need a connection up there somewhere.
Correct. But I think society can make it happen, build the bridge, make the connections.
That's why we started going to Albany lately. And
but don't you think that because of this kind of discrimination, if you look at, I meet so many people in the market today. I meet somebody who owns 10 Dunkin' Donuts, he is an engineer. Right. Somebody has 3 motels, he is an engineer. Somebody has some 10 grocery stores, he is an engineer. So there was a constant fear at one point that we are losing engineers to not engineering field. They moved out and went into do something else, probably because of discrimination and other few areas or points. Do you think that is still continuing, or today there is a kind of a...
No. See, Sunil, what happened is those who came earlier, like you said, those who came in 60s and 70s, they all were very focused. That they came here, they did their master, they got their P license, they pretty much retired also, like people like Mohan Jethwani and Satish Babbar and Kirit Desai. My own brother-in-law, he came in 62 through the boat, and they all done very well for them. They're living in a decent house, living decent life. But those who went to Dunkin' Donuts and 7-Elevens and all, I think for them, there was no opportunity exist when they came, or it was not there. Now our organization is so popular, and people can look after for that. Oh, there is someone that, because like, for example, I found people from gas station. I always, whenever I go to the places, and if I see an Indian person, I ask him, what do you do? Oh, I'm an engineer in India, but here there is no opportunity. And when they come at late age, they don't want to go for masters, and they don't want to go study because they already married, they already have a responsibility, so they have to start working. And if you have a bachelor degree from India in engineering, it's very hard for you to find a job because people are a lot more highly qualified. So they find the easy way to work in Dunkin' Donuts, gas station, Atlantic City, 7-Eleven. And we found a lot of engineers. Between me and Mihir, we have found so many engineers who are working somewhere here and there. We put them to the right floor. So those days, yes, a lot of engineers, they got wasted, but they've been successful. But yes, because SIAEA exist now, there's a lot of opportunities for those who didn't know where to go.
So you know what happened in that question, to answer to that question, right? 1980s to 1980 to 2000, all the engineers who came, when I even came in 86, and if I come here and I want to start my own construction company, it's very hard to start in those days. Now, the guy who comes from India as an engineer, now we come as a Indian mentality to just make fast money. So
and that was at one time today.
Right. So you go and work. I gave my fingerprints. I passed my board exam. I was gonna be hired as a be civil engineer in Board of Education. $27,500 salary in 1986, 1987. Then one of my father-in-law's friend came and told me, he said, "Do you have to send money to India?" I said, "No, my father is a vice president in Bank of Baroda, so I don't think he needs money. He's good." So he says, "Stay in private." So then I went to my then boss. I was working in a private industry, and I said to John Amentos, he was a Greek, very good man, gentleman. And he says, "Mihir, why you want to leave?" And I said, "I'm getting an offer to work for Board of Ed." And then he says, "What's the salary?" So that was my first smart move in my life, I think. I doubled my salary that time, and he says, "Okay, I'll pay you that." So that's my first raise came. And then it came, and I said, "Okay, so you have to pinch it to get it."
True.
So the only thing, our mentality, Indians' mentality is, we want to get easy way out. And doing construction in this city is a tough thing to do.
Yeah,
and these engineers, you saying 300,000 engineers in whole United States. I have brother-in-laws, I have cousins, I have all these guys, they're engineers working in the field of engineering. But maybe 10% are doing business.
That's good. So we have kind of a control on that. Now let's talk about Nayan, on the big buzzword these days, which is the supplier diversity, the minority, the underprivileged. Do we really fall in that category, and how are we benefiting from that position today? Because that's a big mandate for the feds.
See, I'll tell you, yes, we do get benefited. We used to get benefited, let's put it that way. The reason is 5-6 years ago, New York City, they passed a bill. They eliminate Indian professionals, Indian contractors, including IT business, from minorities.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately, because we were not strong, we had no representation from our community. They took our share and split among African American, Hispanics, and Caucasian women. Because it used to be 15% minorities and 20% woman base. That 15%, they took it away, so we are not minorities anymore. They did this 6 years ago. And recently we found out, or recently we all got together and talked about that issue. And we did a little research, we spoke to lobby companies, how did this happen? New York City did the disparity study. And based on the study, they realized that Indians are rich, they're more successful, they're prosperous, they don't need this. But I think the reason that they did it, because we didn't have representation at the city level. When every year when they were sharing the pies, no one on behalf of our community was sitting there to take our share. So every year they talk about it, they split the shares, our share used to be there. So finally they said, "You know what, these people don't need it, so let's take it." So now we're fighting on these two issues. One, to reinstate that percentage for us. Second thing, to secure the New York State percentage. We still consider as a minority in New York State.
That's good.
And we want to make sure that we go there, show our faces, be part of the every activity, so we don't get loose on New York State, our stake.
Well, then congratulations to your organization, and we will come back to these questions once again, how the society is now taking that advantage and helping the businesses within the businesses owned by the community or the new ones who want to look for job opportunities, but after we take a short break.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon stay there.